EFA Code Entry tab on the EFA EIA Classification Information page. This is a good time to follow along in your PowerSchool instance. You can also follow along in our training server, but you'll want to make sure that you know what your security role enables you to view in your own PowerSchool user interface at your district or school as well. Log into PowerSchool using your credentials, your user ID, and your password. You will initially see the Start page. Select a particular student, and then click on the State Province-SC link, followed by the EFA EIA Classification Information link. Note the page name, South Carolina State Information. Ensure the student's name, grade level, PowerSchool student ID, and student name are all accurately displayed. If your security role is set to view the information on this page, you should see this student's state ID, also known as the SUNS number, the yes or no indicator for include this student in state reporting, the self-contained checkbox, and a long list of customized South Carolina pages for various programs for which other data values are collected. Note that the self-contained class checkbox allows you to indicate whether or not the student is enrolled in a self-contained special education class at this school. Blank means no, while the check will indicate that the student is enrolled in a self-contained special education class. Go ahead and click the EFA EIA Classification Information link. When you click the EFA EIA Classification Information link, you will display this EFA code entry page. You'll see a total of 10 tabs for various pages where data must be entered for each student. As you continue through this module, you'll learn the coding procedure for each of the various tabs. The 10 tabs, not necessarily displayed in this order, are EFA code entry, EFA history, EIA code entry, EIA history, add-on weightings history, standardized test performance level, standardized test performance level history, high achieving history. The first tab that we'll explore is the EFA code entry tab. The first field that you'll find on the EFA code entry tab is EFA primary. Primary student funding is based on the value you select for this field. This value, commonly referred to as a student's EFA code, is a required data value that you must select from the drop-down list. The values for this field fall into 3 different categories: base programs, which include kindergarten, primary, elementary, and high school students; exceptional programs, which designates if the students are receiving special education services per the student's individual education plan, or IEP, or if the student is receiving medical homebound instruction; and vocational program, which identifies the students taking specific courses offered through the Career and Technology Office. A note on pre-K3 students. The student in this example displayed here is enrolled as -2, or pre-K3, PK3. As such, the student will not have an EFA code entry. However, the appropriate grade level will need to be selected for this student in the EIA code entry, which is on a different tab, EC3 for the 3-year-old student or EC4 for the 4-year-old student. There are a couple of requirements based on South Carolina law that we need to remember. Students coded as kindergartners must be 5 years of age before September 2nd on the current school year, and first grade students must be at least 6 years of age on September 2nd of the current school year. Your school or district special education coordinator should supply specific coding information for students in an exceptional program category. For exceptional programs, there are 10 different codes in the EFA primary field dropdown. You can see the full meaning of each in the dropdown options in your PowerSchool user interface. The abbreviations shown here are TM, SP, HO, EH, EM, LD, HH, VH, OH, and AU. Students who have a specific learning disability are classified as LD, which also includes DD and OHI. Students for whom OH classification is selected would also include a student with a TBI, and students for whom the TM status is indicated also includes the PMD. The law requires that students coded with one of the special education values in the EFA primary field must be at least 5 years old before September 2nd of the current school year. Currently, the one exception for this requirement is for 4-year-old students receiving visual and/or hearing-related services. Note again that these students must also have an individualized education plan, or IEP, unless they are being served as homebound. Finally, just a reminder that pre-K-3 students are not eligible for exceptional program funding. Choose the value of HO in the EFA primary field for a medically homebound student who may receive academic services if or when they can profit from instruction while at home or medical facilities such as a hospital. Regulation 43-241, updated in June of 2019, requires detailed records for a student classified as receiving homebound instruction. This includes eligibility, minutes for daily instruction, valid certification of teachers, and weekly records submitted on the part of teachers. You must ensure documentation by a licensed physician that certifies that this student cannot attend school as a result of an accident, illness, or pregnancy, despite the aid of transportation. This student must be approved by the superintendent or his or her designee, who will need to review and complete the revised medical homebound instruction form provided through the South Carolina Department of Education Office of Health and Nutrition. You'll select VOC as the EFA primary value for students enrolled in one or more vocational or career and technology CTE courses. These students must be in grades 9 through 12, enrolled in eligible career and technical education or CTE courses, and meet the minimum number of minutes daily as outlined in the pupil accounting manual. For students enrolled in a CTE course during a single semester, you'll select VOC for that term only. You'll need to pay close attention to students' schedules to know when to accurately reflect the term in which the student is enrolled in the CTE course, and then change the end-of-term date and the EFA primary code from or to VOC. You'll want to assign the EFA code of HS or the program with the higher weighting in which the student is being served. You can locate the details for each CTE course in the activity coding manual provided through the Federal and State Accountability Office. Please ensure that you review this guide each year for any changes in course names or course codes from the CTE Program Office. Here are some more funding-related acronyms that you'll want to remember. ADM and WPU. ADM stands for Average Daily Membership and is used for several state and district level reports. WPU stands for Weighted Pupil Unit and is the funding level for a student. So we interpret the funding formula as follows. The ADM, Average Daily Membership, is multiplied by each EFA weighting category to get the WPU, or Weighted Pupil Unit. There are several things to remember for the EFA primary field. Because this is a major funding field, always be sure to verify that the code accurately reflects the classification category that the student should be assigned. This means that unless receiving special services, all kindergartners should be coded as K, and all career and technical education or CTE students as VOC during the term that they are actively enrolled in a CTE course. There should be school or district level personnel able to assist you with making these types of determinations if you're unsure. Make sure you identify those key contact people at the beginning of each year. Also, remember that if a student meets the criteria for more than one category, that student should be coded with the highest weighted category. The next field that we'll discuss on the EFA Code Entry tab is the effective start date field. This field appears after a value has been selected for the EFA primary field. Here, you'll code the date each student begins receiving services through the district or school for the program selected in the EFA primary field. The date in this field must match the student's initial enrollment date for the current school year, unless the category for the student changes after initial enrollment. For example, if a primary school student begins receiving autism-related services on November 12th after her initial enrollment on August 20th, then November 12th should be entered in the effective start date field when the EFA primary code is changed to AU. The date must be provided in an acceptable month, day, year format. On the EFA Code Entry tab, you'll also find fields named EFA 2 through EFA 10. Note that EFA funding is based only on the coding in the EFA primary field. Complete the EFA 2 through 10 fields if your school or district decides that they are relevant for a student. EFA History tab on the EFA EIA Classification Information page. Now, let's take a look at the EFA History tab. This tab allows you to edit EFA records. After clicking the Edit link to the left of any EFA record, you'll be presented with an interface to adjust both the start and stop dates of that record, as well as the EFA primary value and the EFA 2 through 10 values. When you click the Edit link, the Edit EFA History Information page will display the start date, stop date, EFA primary field, and the EFA 2 through 10 fields that you can edit.